Hey guys, today I want to share with you a workflow where you can take any base copy that you have, whether it's email direct marketing, whether it is a sales landing pages or even blogs. You can take this base copy that you have and then transform it into a high converting sales copy. And we do that by applying the Alex Hormozi sales framework and also the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And if you're someone in marketing where you write a lot of copies or you're a business owner, then this workflow would definitely add a lot of value for you. Alright, so let me walk you through on a high level how this works. So first of all, we have the base copy that will essentially inform the structure and layout of the sales copy. And then we have the product features. And then lastly, we have the Amazon reviews. And here we can either have our own products reviews or our competitors' products reviews. And this really depends on the scenario that you're in. For example, if you're launching like a new product, let's say, and you do not have any reviews for your product yet, then what you can do is to take your competitors' products that closely resembles your own product, and then use that, extract their customer reviews, points and pleasure points. So once you have these three things, what you have now is you have the base copy that informs the way that your sales copy will be written in terms of structure and layout of elements. And then we have the pain points and pleasure points of customers. They will then guide the entire thread of the sales copy. Lastly, we have the product features that will then be used to address the pain points or pleasure point that has been chosen for the particular sales copy. So now once we have that, that's already essentially like the skeleton of our sales copy, but we want to enhance the writing by injecting the Alex Hormozi sales framework and also the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And in case you're not familiar with these two frameworks, let me just briefly walk you through what they are. So this is Alex Hormozi's sales framework. As you can see, there are four elements here. There is the dream outcome, there is the perceived likelihood of achievement, time delay, and effort and sacrifice. And so to summarize the entire thing, we're basically saying, based on the customer reviews that I've analyzed, I now know my customers' pain points and pleasure points. And based on these things, these are the few dream outcomes that they have. And then the second thing is then say, okay, these are your dream outcomes. How close can I get you to your dream outcome? And how close can I make you feel that I can bring you to your dream outcome? And so that is the perceived likelihood of achievement. And then the two things below here is time delay and effort sacrifice, meaning this is your dream outcome, and this is how close I can get you to your dream outcome, or at least how close I can make you feel that I can bring you to your dream outcome. And I can do that without you spending a lot of effort and sacrifice much and in a short span of time. And so you can bring all those four elements into your sales copy, then that will essentially make a convincing and enticing sales copy. And so what happens is we're going to feed these into an AI agent that will essentially guide the way that it writes the sales copy. And then moving on to the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, these are essentially targeting a human's most basic needs, right? How we'll be using the Maslow hierarchy of needs is that we are going to be looking at the voice of customers that you see here. We'll be extracting the voice of customers, which are the pain points, pleasure points, and then we'll use that to profile them into buckets of customers, which are ideal customer profiles. And then based on each ideal customer profile, what are their likely Maslow hierarchy of needs? For example, it might be respected by others. And then we can then tie that into our dream outcome and say, okay, so your dream outcome is somewhere along the lines of being respected by others. And so how can I help you perceive that I can bring you there? And then how can you do that in a very short amount of time and not having to sacrifice a lot on your end? And so we'll be essentially incorporating all of those elements into our 10x sales copywriter here. And then finally, what we'll get out of that is 10 to 15 headlines and 10 sales pages as well. All right, so now that you understand how this workflow works, let's go ahead and run this workflow. And so there are multiple fields here that you need to fill in essentially. So the first is customer analysis folder ID. And here, essentially, the voice of customers will be provided as a Google Doc and inserted into this folder. And so let's just give it the ID. And here you'll want to make sure you extract only the ID and not the entire link. And then we want the sales copy, which is where the final sales copy will be going into. And then what do we want the docs to be named? We're going to be doing a landing page, like a sales copy for Meridian Grooming. So let's just say, the trimmer premium sales copy. And then after that, our base copy, let's say that we want to use this, right? And so this is essentially a copy that I've generated by reading in this landing page here. And so what happens is I want to use this landing page as a reference to guide my final sales copy. I want it to be structured and laid out this way. And so you can see that actually the text that is then generated is actually very similar to in terms of layout and structure. For example, this table, you can also see that this exists in this section of the web page. And if you go all the way to the top, you'll see that say hello to sweat-free days, and then super effective sweat protection, etc. So all of these will all be captured in this page, and we'll essentially be feeding that into this workflow. And so if you want to know how you can do the same thing by extracting the copy exactly, you can refer to the video description where I'll be inserting the link to the template where I can essentially convert templates like this into a Google Doc like this. Or you can also check out the video on the card above. So once you have that, so let's just give this, make sure we share it and with the link. Okay. And so every time when you include these folder IDs and base good URL and stuff, always make sure that you enable sharing mode. So for example, for these two folders, just make sure that you share this, right? So you go to share, and you just make sure that access is provided to anyone with the link and not restricted, because restricted is usually the default. So make sure you change that. So once you're done, you can then put all of those in here, and then target city, let's just say New York, and then we want 5 copies, or let's just say 3 copies, for example. And then we want to say, okay, product name is the trimmer premium, and then URL or product reviews tab. And this is also assuming that you already have Amazon reviews ready for you. And if you don't, also check out in the description below, where I will also include the link to essentially the Amazon scraper that would convert any Amazon product URL that you have into a spreadsheet that looks like that, right? Okay, so now once you're done with that, then we say of all the reviews that we have, how many do we want to use? And this is to make sure that the pleasure points and pain points that is captured in the sales copy is diverse enough. So let's say we want to use maybe just 50 here, and then product features and USP docs. Alright, since I don't have access to Meridian Grooming's product features or USPs, I'm just going to get Claude to generate an artificial features / USP docs just for the purpose of this demo. So once this is ready, I'm just going to copy that into a Google Docs file that I can then share into my workflow. So let me just create that now. The trimmer. And then I take this. Okay, so now once we have the trimmer premium's USPs, we're just gonna do the same thing again. We're gonna make sure that we share it. Copy the link and then put it here. So now once everything is ready, we're just gonna submit this. Okay, so now once we have submitted our form, so now what you see is, okay, now it's going through, it has extracted my product features, it gotten my base copy, gotten my Amazon reviews. So this agent right here essentially takes the Amazon reviews and then analyzes and then generates marketing angles, customer motivations, frictions and barriers, product opportunities, and then voice of customer snippets as well. So that's what it's doing here, and then it will then put all of these into a Google Docs. So you'll see marketing angles, customer motivations, frictions and barriers, product opportunities. And then after that, we have this advertorial writer, and essentially what it does is that it creates a first draft of the skeleton based on the original copy that we have. So what it does here is that it takes the base copy and then it feeds in the product name that we're using, so the trimmer premium in this case, and then we are then providing all the customer voice, the voices of customers, so the marketing angles, the customer motivations, etc. And then we're also providing in the product features and USPs. And so what we get out of this is actually a first draft of our sales copy that uses our customers, or based on the reviews, pleasure points and pain points, and then based on those generate like product features and USPs that addresses those pain points. So now what you can imagine is we have a copy that is made for our product. And after this advertorial writer, we have this Maslow hierarchy of needs. And this is where the agent goes ahead and looks at the customer reviews and then generates a bunch of ICPs. And so what you see here is, we just go to the structured output parser. What you see here is like, we have persona. What is the Maslow category that they belong to? For example, here is safety needs. And then we have their demographics. And then also additional context about them. For example, what is their core fear or desire? What is the context? What is the struggles, current state, etc. And so these are all just to kind of like provides the next agent more context about who they are talking to and what is the pain points, pleasure points that they're experiencing. And then after that, we have the headline writer, and this is where we essentially generate 10 to 15 headlines variations based on our Maslow hierarchy of needs, ideal customer profiles, pain points, pleasure points. The headline writer also includes the Maslow the Alex Hormozi framework as well. And so this is where it will then feed into our headline file. Okay, so if we just check out the document for the headlines, let me just open that. Where is it? Yeah, so if you see here, we have the headline options, and then we'll see that it is now categorized into different Alex Hormozi sales framework levers. So we have dream outcome, and then we have the risk removal, we have time delay, and then we have the pain logic advantage. Actually, this is perceived likelihood of achievement. I think there's been an error here, but okay. So if you go up, we can see that, okay, for dream outcome, we say that the outcome here that we're achieving is confidence. And so it then says from nervous to confident in your first trim. Or why settle for normal when you deserve better? Smooth cutting, smooth confidence every single time. So a lot of these are focused on confidence, right? And you can see that there's also the sub-headlines that accompanies those as well. For example, ceramic blade technology eliminates nicks and cuts. So you can groom anywhere with zero fear. So a lot of these are very targeted to specific ICPs and also to their underlying basic needs, for example, confidence in this case, right? And so if you go back, and then after that, what happens is all these headlines will then be passed into this sales page copywriter, where it will essentially then just pick what it thinks are the best performing, will be the best performing headlines and sub-headlines, and then just writing the entire sales copy. Because what we have previously is the skeleton, which is not enhanced with the proper sales tactics and frameworks yet. And then we have the headline now, enhanced by the sales tactics, but we still have the rest of the body that is not. So now this is what this sales page copywriter does. And then finally, we'll get docs, right? So let me just open two copies. So we can see that for the second copy, it says the gift that says, I care about you. So again, you can see that I care about you here is like very deep emotional needs. So it probably came from the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And then hero sub-headline, safe enough to give with confidence. Ceramic blades eliminate the fear of hurting someone you love. So this ceramic blade again comes from your own product feature and how you can then address the underlying pleasure point, which is like, I care about you, right? So you want to make sure that the girlfriend is giving to the boyfriend something that is very safe and shows that they actually care about the boyfriend's safety, right? So hero section, sub-headline, and then product name. So let me just compare this to the original copy, right, to see how similar they are. So we can say, okay, after that we have product name. Where's the product name? Okay, ignore this, but basically we have, okay, so we have the product name, product description, and then CTA, give the gift or confidence, which is this. And then we have authority quote section, which is probably trying to mimic this section here. So the most thoughtful grooming gift you can give, etc. And then we have 3 reasons section. So reason 1, reason 2, reason 3. These are probably very long, but it can probably be like additional, you can make it concise. But essentially the headline here is show you care with a gift that prioritizes their safety, premium quality that reflects how much they mean to you, and convenient features that make their life easier. So you can see that all of these are following the same thread of the headline here, which is the gift that says I care about you, and also helping them to invoke confidence and also not be afraid of trimming. So I think in general, it kind of goes very close to the original base copy that you provided. And so that is what we have for this second copy. And then for this third copy, we can see that why settle for normal when you deserve better? Professional grade ceramic technology delivers salon results that regular electric trimmers simply can't match. Right, so you can see that it closely matches the headline as well. So yeah, that's the end of the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And I've also made a few other end videos. For example, if you're interested in the workflow that extracts PDFs like the DuraDry example PDFs into a base copy, make sure to also check out the video about using Mistral OCR to convert these image-heavy documents or PDFs into a Google Docs file. And also, if you're interested in the Amazon scraper, feel free to check it out in the video description below, which you can just plug and play. Alright, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one. Peace.